Hello everyone, my name is Joanna and I am representing the team Terra at the UNICC Global Hackathon. We were looking at COVID-19 data in Europe, and specifically we were trying to analyze the impact that government measures could have on the total number of COVID-19 cases. First of all, here we can see a map of the cases in the European Union. I have to mention here that in France we were missing some data, so it is colored very lightly here, but we actually know that it was also badly affected, similar to Spain as well as Italy. And then here on the right side, we plotted the number of cases or new cases per week in 2020 and 2021. And we can actually see that in the beginning of the pandemic, which was in spring 2020, we have a lot of the elderly generation that is affected, but that changes here. I mean, they are still affected, but the younger generation also represents a very high number of cases, which we can see here on the blue and orange line, since they represent the people from 15 to 49 years. So what we actually wanted to do is to look whether the measures, because there of course are measures that affect younger generation, that affect the whole generation, and so on. So we were trying to find relationships between cases and measures. And first of all, we plotted the number of distinct measures per country. So we can see that Netherlands actually has the highest number of distinct measures throughout the pandemic. And then here we plotted on a timeline since the beginning of the pandemic, which is week 9 in 2020, we plotted the number of new implemented measures, and we can see that there's a very high peak here in the beginning, which is probably because of we kind of went from 0 to 100, and this plot shows just the new implemented measures, so it doesn't show whether they are still active or not. So of course here in the beginning we had like a lockdown from one day to the other, so this is probably why we have this very high peak here, and then it kind of evens out throughout the pandemic. But we can also see here in the maybe late weeks of 2020, where we have the second wave, the new measures rise again a little bit. So this graph shows the number of cases in all countries in the European Union, and it also shows the number of active measures, so a little bit different from the last plot. And what we were trying to show here is that if we have new measures, does the number of cases actually decrease? Yeah, due to some time reasons, we couldn't do everything we wanted or were planning to do. But our next step would have been that, for example, we create a model that actually predicts the future COVID-19 cases based on the measures. So we would have, we actually did the one-hot encoding for the measures, and we would have had them as features. And then furthermore, we were also looking for external data as well. But since this is like a really like current topic, and we were like, when we were looking for external data, we couldn't find current data for 2020, or at least not for the whole year. So we decided to not invest any more time into that. So